Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. My name is WriterMaven. I am the host of the Wrestling Receipts podcast. I cover all things Judgment Day, which is Liv Raquel, Dom, Liv Raquel, Finn, JD, Carlito, and then I talk about Damien and Rhea. Talk about other people as well, such as my girl Naomi, and all that implies. This is a tea session slash previewing Raw. We did get the news that Liv will be facing Bayley tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw. I'm going to be discussing that. I'm going to be discussing stupid shit on the internet that happened today and yesterday and the day before that. I'm going to be talking about SmackDown, what happened there. I'm going to be talking about why it's ridiculous now that some people are now thinking that Liv cannot take any kind of bump on Dom's behalf. And then I am going to be previewing Raw, as I stated. Talk about why Rhea is being an idiot and talk about how she's being persecuted and that people hate her. And we're going to be talking WrestleMania. There has been some plans that have been supposedly leaked about the stage setup that I will get into because it does feature our boy Dom and some fantasy booking. So we got a full one. I'm trying not to keep us too long because I do know people like to ask questions. So let's jump into it, shall we? So today we had stupid shit on the internet. And by stupid shit, I am talking about Rhea saying that um, there was Rhea stands on the internet today saying that they don't like Dom because Liv respects him. Now, first of all, what the fuck? Like, all of a sudden, that Dom gets some respect from Dom, you don't like him. See, that really shows how toxic Rhea stands are. I'm not talking about fans. I'm talking about stands that really go into all this um like psychobabble, not psychobabble. It's just like they are really entrenched in this persona that Rhea has, and so they stay superstitious like this. Like they were even saying like Dom, being abused wasn't like a negative trait to Rhea. I was like, it just blew my mind today. Thankfully, other Dom and Liv fans were jumping all over this person because it was just a wild ride. I'm like, how can you even say that? Like, and you don't like Dom just sounds like a you problem, and it just really reinforces why I'm really glad that Dom got away from Rhea. Yeah, it kicked off like his real heel persona, like Dirty Dom and Daddy Dom. But man, the repercussions to this now is almost like you almost wish that he hadn't hooked up with Rhea because he's still gonna have these lingering like stands that just really want him to be with Rhea just so she can act out this whole dominatrix thing. And then I pretty much said point blank on the X that, hey, y'all don't really want this conversation that Rhea was a bad Dom. And by Dom I mean Domme. And I can go into a whole like list of things on why she is, and that's a whole other conversation. It's probably not even appropriate for this channel. But it's like, hey, I can open up that conversation and say why she's a bad Dom. Because what you are being presented is not would not fly anywhere for those in the scene. And if you know, you know. So it's just stupid. It's just really, really stupid shit. And then other things today. Um, so Liv's at Coachella, and if you're on the X Instagram, you will see her posting her pics at Did I get a heart? Thank you. Who sent me that heart? Whoever that is, thank you. I will kind of go back and see that, but thank you for sending me that heart. Um, so Liv's at Coachella. We saw the pics on the X. She's looking really, really nice. Like I don't I goon for a lot of different women and men, but Liv was looking really nice. And JoJo, I'm really happy to see her looking really nice and happy. She went to Coachella with Liv last year, and I'm just really happy to see JoJo looking really happy and full of life. After the aftermath of Bray Wyatt, so I'm just really happy to see JoJo. But Liv is doing like a nice pic. And then people, of course, are saying that Liv is breaking the internet because she really did break the internet with that picture. Like the whole video and GIF that she posted, yeah, breaks the internet. And then, not even an hour later, guess who posts a Gooner pic? Rhea Ripley. Now, me with my suspicious self had to side eye this. Why? Because why are you posting? It was just really too close together. Like, first we had Liv, and now I'm used to Liv posting like all kinds of stuff on, the X. She posts the pictures, it's cute, whatever. But with Rhea, it's just gooey. And she posted that pic, and now people are saying, well, Rhea's breaking the internet. And I'm like, okay, why are you doing this like right after Liv's video? And I just posted on the X like, hey, Rhea's not really beating the allegations of, people just only post her, she only goes viral because of those pics instead of like her wrestling. Because if you see like everybody else, you'll goon for Liv, you'll goon for Naomi, you'll goon for Bayley and anybody else, any of these other women, Tiffany and stuff like that. But you'll goon for them, but then you'll also see them go viral for their wrestling. Like you'll see Tiffany pictures, but then you'll see her, wrestling. Same thing with Liv. Liv will post her pictures, but then you see her wrestling or in some kind of storyline or doing something like that. You will see, Bayley. People will goon after Bayley's like when she's like weightlifting and things like that. But you'll see her go viral for her wrestling. Rhea is just straight goonage. I'm like, you're not really breaking a. You're not really the. You're not getting away from these accusations, Rhea. And then people are saying, well, Rhea and Liv could got together and just decided to break the internet on their own. And I say, yeah, maybe, but still, it's just really suspicious to me on the timing. Like, you can't let Liv have, like, if Liv had posted her pictures, like, earlier in the day, and then later on in the evening, Rhea decided to post a picture, okay, fine. That's cool. I mean, that's enough space there. If you want to break the internet, you could get together like, hey, I'll break the internet in the morning, you break the internet in the evening. Done. Cool. I get it. But when you post it that close together, I'm like, okay. It just gives me a side eye. Maybe they did get together and wanted to break the internet together. Maybe they did. Maybe they don't. But it just gives me a side eye for like Liv didn't post the pics, those her stylist did. Yeah, and that's true too. So it's not like Liv is like doing this on her official stuff. She was posting like I think she was posting like on her official X, like the Raw stuff and Dom and Liv, like the WWE YouTube video of them her and Dominik Mumbai. So yeah, I get you, Ava. So it's not really just Liv herself, but it's just really, really it's just really, really odd to me. So I just have to give it a side eye. Because I was like, okay, you could have posted that anytime. I would have been waited and posted that on Monday or something like that. But you know what? It is what it is. But I'm going to get back to Rhea later because I don't want to talk about her too much in the beginning because she kind of overwhelms me and I'll start ranting again. So I want to get into SmackDown. Oh, before going to SmackDown, the other stupid shit thing of the day was Ibu. Now, if you know Ibu, I have constantly gone after him and Corey for saying it's going to be Judgment Day versus the Wyatt Six at WrestleMania. Now, that has been busted completely to smithereens. Um, it's no Wyatt Six versus Judgment Day. It's no Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross versus Liv and Raquel. It's not even the other prediction of Rhea versus Io. It's you're gonna get Rhea, Io, and Bianca at WrestleMania, but not the original prediction of Rhea and Io because they said Io was gonna win the Royal Rumble, and we all saw what happened there. So everything was busted to smithereens with Corey and Ibu. I really think they got some really bad information and they put it out there, and they were just trying to save face and they just kept pushing it. Other people kept taking it up and pushing it because they thought they were reputable, and now everybody has egg in their faces. But Ibu, with his dumb self, wants to sit up here on the X and say that Dom and Jey Uso are not good workers in the WWE because they were saying people want Jey and Dom to win the titles, and that's true. I mean, I really don't carry the way with Jey. I think Jimmy's the better twin, and I think Jimmy could have did better with this push, but it is what it is. If he wins, he wins. But he was just saying like, but I wouldn't say that Jay is a horrible wrestler. Fuck that. We've seen him in tag teams, so he's good. So Ibu says, Dom and Jay are not good workers, and you can't have two non-workers on Raw, and you have to shift one to like SmackDown. Boy, if you saw how people went after Ibu for saying that dumb shit, because people are saying, Dom was working pretty much all of 2003, had the most matches. He was second behind Cody Rhodes. And then just to say Jay is a non-worker is asinine. I mean, yeah, he's not he's not what I would call. I think his moveset is limited, but I wouldn't say that he's not a non-worker. People came after Ibu, and I'm like, that I said because I'm blocked. He blocked me for whatever reason, so I said, you know what? It's really interesting that that prediction of Judgment Day versus Wyatt Six prediction not coming true really had to sting if you got to be saying some dumb shit like this. And then this man proceeds to go on an X Space, sit up there on his ass, and then try to lord over, from what I've heard, because I'm blocked, but from what I heard, it's more like he's holding like court over people to convince him that Dom is a good worker. And this is also the same man that said that Dom would not get a title or he didn't deserve a title. Like completely talking out of his ass. Like you can not like people, you may not like particular wrestlers, but to say that they don't get a title is pretty much asinine to me. Anybody can get a title in the right circumstance, in the right build, unless you're just really fucking it up in the ring, then anybody can get any kind of title at any time. So, he's just Lord in court, and guess who joined that space? MJF. And then they said they proceeded to talk about AEW. Now, I don't really give a fuck about MJF because I don't really like that dude because I think he tries too hard to be a heel. Like, if Dom could get heat without insulting the crowd, I would think MJF would figure out how to get heat from the crowd without insulting somebody local. That's like a cheap shot to do. It's kind of like you get the unnecessary cheap pop when somebody mentions the city that Raw or AEW is in for the night. It's like that's a cheap pop. You're getting cheap heat by insulting the city. And I would think that MJF would have figured it out by now, but him being in there with Ibu, I'm like, you know what? My opinion on you is really low now. So, I like bits and pieces of AEW. I loved Timeless Tony Storm, and I love Willow and Haley, and I love, there's lots of people that I like in AEW, but man, this Ibu connection and MJF connection that just really soured me on the whole thing. So, anyway, let's get to SmackDown. SmackDown, we had the Gauntlet match for the number one contender for the women's tag team titles. When we first see Liv and Raquel, Big Mommy Cool looked amazing. I really like that black and white paisley handkerchief that she had, like it's like a halter top she had on. I really, really like that look on her. I am really liking how more confident Raquel is looking. She just looks really confident. She's been looking really good in her outfits. I just love her. Same thing with Liv. Liv looked amazing as usual. And they were really funny during the gauntlet. Wade Barrett had a really funny quote during the break. I'm not sure if y'all heard this on the US broadcast, but if we get the international broadcast, Wade Barrett says that Liv Morgan told me that she is full of energy, and then Dominik Mysterio confirmed, what did he say? I had it down. He's like, Liv Morgan, told me that she has a lot of energy, and Dominik Mysterio confirmed that she has a lot of energy. So there's that, innuendo there between those two, and it just made me cackle because at least this is why we need the heel commentary team, because you need that bit just to talk up Liv and Dom as heels. So we had that little bit. Bayley and Lyra run the gauntlet. I was not a fan of them running the gauntlet this way. Why was I not a fan? Because they buried two tag teams in the process. First it was the matchups in the gauntlet were short. It was only 5 minutes until they got to the end with Alba Fire and Piper Niven, and that ran a little bit longer, but it was really short, the matches. And then they buried the two teams that are actual tag teams in Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler and the Party Girls. And they just ran all the way through them, and we don't see like any kind of like with Bayley and Lyra for just having the match on Monday where they were showing some seeds of dissent. All of a sudden, they're running like a well-oiled machine. And I'm like, okay, where's the dissent? Like, where's the communication? They could have at least shown that. I was not a fan of how this was set up because, like I said, it just ran over the Party Girls. It ran over Jada and Zoe. I was thinking Maxine and Natty would get at least one little win there to kind of bolster up their team because I could see them as a team after WrestleMania for Liv and Raquel. They didn't even get that. Me Chin and B Fab that kind of got ran through. It was just a whole mess. Like I think Lyra and Bayley should have came in toward the middle, and you could have gave at least a win or two somewhere to these other teams to build them up. Because with Bayley and Lyra, they just ran through all the competition for the tag teams on the main roster. So yeah, they didn't touch anybody on the NXT or TNA, but main roster wise, you just decimated your whole team. So what do Liv and Raquel have to? What do Liv and Raquel face? Granted that they retain at WrestleMania, who do they face after this? Everybody's decimated. Nobody's built up. Nobody. So that was my extreme problem with this. And this kind of shit really shows me that this could have been building since after Elimination Chamber. Like you had the little scuffle between Bayley, Lyra, Raquel, and Liv like 2-3 weeks ago, but they kind of dropped it and then they brought it back. Like they should have been building this since the time Raquel won against Bayley. That would have been the time to start building up some of this heat for this match. But as it stands now, there's no heat in this match. Nothing. There's no heat in the match. And all we get from this match is a will they or won't they between Bayley and Lyra. And so Liv and Raquel are being used to build up somebody else's story. So it's just the story of Bayley and Lyra, and it's just Liv just being there just to facilitate all that. And Liv still has no story. And I'm really annoyed with that. Like I'm really tired of a lot of these wrestlers getting used to set up other people. I'm like, if you're like top of the line and stuff, you shouldn't be needing to have another wrestler set up stuff. You know, Liv should be used like Karrion Kross. At least with Karrion Kross, he can look spooky and play double in your ear, and that makes sense for his character. But with Liv, she should be having her own characters, her own developments, her own feuds. She should be used to set up somebody else up, and then by the time she finishes setting up everybody else's shit, she has nothing. It shouldn't be like that. So I'm really really annoyed with that. Um, um, the Party Girls were upset after this match, and I can't really blame them. Shayna and Zoe had a little video where they kind of posted it like in kayfabe about being upset about it. So I wouldn't be surprised if like we see some of these teams show up like on Monday or at WrestleMania itself just to kind of kick off something else. But Shayna and Zoe had something in kayfabe, but the Party Girls were kind of outside of kayfabe, being upset about the opportunities and stuff like that. And I can't blame them. They are an established tag team. They are a good tag team. They have established tag team moves. I love the keg stand. They have moves. You know, they work as a team. And and then for them just to get ran over just because you want Bayley and Lyra there is bad. Like you could at least had it where if you want to do Bayley and like Piper and like Piper and Alba Fire. Maybe that could have been like the first match, and then you could have had um, the party girls like at the end where they just run Lyra and Bayley through the ringer because they are that tag team. You know, at least do something like that, but don't just run them through like towards the middle of the gauntlet. So yeah, so the party girls were upset, and like I said, I can't blame them. But we are set up for Bayley and Lyra versus Liv and Raquel at WrestleMania Night 2, along with Dom. And like I said, I'll get to him later on too. But I'm kind of hoping they do of this stuff needs a stipulation. We only have one stipulation with the Vegas City Street Fight with Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. And it seems like we need some more matches with some stipulations. So I would actually like it if we did get like a winner take all with this match. Like just have it where winner take all, whoever wins, either they get the tag team, Bayley and Lyra, or like Liv or Raquel get the IC. Just do something like that, and that'll push my agenda of Liv and Dom having matching IC titles. So it is what it is. Um, so speaking of Liv, let's segue into some other internet stupid shit that I encountered this weekend. Now, you remember last week, on Monday, we were talking about Liv potentially taking a bump from Braun Baker, a spear. And I just put that out there. And then some people were so like, Liv shouldn't take a spear. He'll tell her in half. Dom should win this on his own. And I'm like, so Dom should win the IC on his own. But y'all had no problem with Dom getting his ass kicked for for Liv over because of Rhea, and then you don't mind Dom getting his ass kicked to help Liv win these titles or retain titles. Like, what the fuck? Like, where's the reciprocation here? And then they was like, well, Liv could just take help out Dom in a safe space. I'm like, she's not made of bubble wrap. She could take a bump. I posted a video of Liv taking an apron bump onto a table when she was a part of the Riot Squad. That's a long time ago. I'm pretty sure Liv could take a bump. And then I still kept getting all these people of, well, Bond's gonna take, he's gonna tear her in half. He's gonna go 100 miles an hour. He's not gonna slow down. I'm like, do y'all know that this is wrestling? Like, this is like all of a sudden y'all are taking wrestling for real? I'm pretty sure you could do a lot of different things with Braun's spear. If he does spear Liv, I'm pretty sure it's not going to be at 100%. And the WWE is clever enough and can do a lot of different things with camera angles, tables, barricades, any of that stuff for Liv to take a bump. It's a bump, and I'm pretty sure they can practice this. This isn't like people being worried for Liv because Braun is such a unsafe worker. It's just like, we don't want Liv to take a bump. You know what? I'm really tired of Dom seeming like he always gets hit, always having to take a bump for the women, or it doesn't get reciprocated with him. Like, Rhea took out some guys, but it wasn't for Dom's behalf. I just want some reciprocation here. Like, if Dom is going to be taking some licks for Liv, Liv could take a bump for Dom. And I'm putting that as a Liv taking a bump for Dom because it's a sacrifice thing, and it is because of their relationship. Dom didn't get that with Rhea. You didn't see Rhea take a bump for Dom. We didn't see that with Rhea. With Liv, we can. And since this is on WrestleMania and this is the PLE, you can kind of get away with Liv taking a bump like that. And like I said, it's not like Braun has to go 100 miles an hour. You can structure it in such a way where it looks devastating, and that's happened before. So I was just really annoyed with some Liv stance. This wasn't like Dom Liv stance. These are like some Liv stance that they, as soon as Liv lost her like world title, they wanted her to dump Dom. Like, he's no longer used to her. Like, it's those type of fans pretty much saying it, and I'm just kind of tired of it because I'm like, look, this guy sacrificed his body for your woman to retain and win titles. The very least you can do is just see about maybe get her doing a bump for Dom. That's it. I'm not asking her to be out there just doing that all the time. I'm just saying just this one night on a very important night, which can establish Dom and Liv as this power couple. I'm just asking just for a little bit of reciprocation, just a little bit. But it is what it is. And like I was saying other times too, like you can do a lot of different things. I mean, you could pull Finn into this where you can have Liv take a bump because of Finn, and then Dom finally crashes out against Finn. See, there's different angles here. This is just a fantasy booking type situation here. I'm not saying Liv take a bump just because of the match. I'm saying just tie it into the match where it makes sense, where you could possibly get a crashed out Dom. Liv takes that bump. Maybe Finn pulls Liv into that bump. Dom sees it and he bump. Maybe Finn pulls Liv into that bump. Dom sees it and he crashes out against Finn. Or maybe you could spin it where Liv takes the bump and then Finn is like, holy shit, what have I done to facilitate his face turn? And then you still get a crashed out Dom. There's different ways of doing this with Liv. I mean, this can spin off a lot of different things from this match. You can spin off the angles between Dom versus Finn after WrestleMania with this bump. So I'm not just saying Liv does this just because. But like I said, I just want a little bit of reciprocation for Dom. Like, I don't want Dom to keep steadily getting beat up for women if you're not gonna have the women at least take a little bit of something for Dom. Like, if you're not gonna be doing this on the weekly show, okay, fine, I get it. You got sponsors, and there's a different rules there. But PLEs, you can get away with it. And because I am the petty bitch that I am, I want Liv to take the bump. I really do. Like, give me the bump. Because if y'all want to act like this, it would say like, Liv's gonna get torn in house. I want Liv to take the bump. I'm petty like that. Take the bump. And Liv taking a bump doesn't necessarily mean she can't celebrate after. You can miraculously revive at the end of the match to celebrate. So take it as it is. But like I said, it was just really ridiculous how people thought that Liv was just gonna die by taking a bronze spear. Let us work back around to Rhea. Now, I touched on this earlier about Rhea saying she was persecuted, and I just want to touch on it a little bit. But there was an article that came out that was covered by some of these commentators saying how Rhea was trying to talk up this triple threat match, calling the story spicy, and she was also talking about how people hate her, and then she trashes Judgment Day. And I'm like, okay, look, first of all, she's acting like a brat. People hate her. I mean, she's saying people hate her, but Bianca is the one getting booed for being right about Rhea and not wanting her in the match. Like, come on. Like, your people hate you, but Bianca's getting booed. And this actually spun out some other things too regarding this, like, people hate me online. Okay, but you're the one that has to date made a collage of screenshots of people talking about when she like hit her head with a shoe. She was all getting after these people for kind of laughing about it, but she praised it like they were trying to say that they wanted her hurt, but it wasn't them. It was like only one person that did that, and that was somebody that actually followed her that said that. So she did this screenshot that ran these people off the internet, and if y'all are around, I'm pretty sure y'all know who those people are, because I was like, how are you gonna do that? I'm like, they didn't even say that they wanted you injured. They were just saying that it looked funny for her to hit her head on a shoe, and there was no report that she got injured. So I mean, we laugh at some gnarly spots all the time, and you go like, ooh, I hope they didn't get hurt, but that was funny, and you talk about it. But she got into her feelings about that. She's the one that always does these self likes where she likes stuff where people will talk about how Dom was better off with Rhea. She'll like stuff about Dom being a double agent, like stealthily, and then she'll rile up her fan base on that. and then she'll cry about she was the one that took that picture um with that fan that had Liv's mugshot, and she has got forced to take that down after a few hours because I'm like, what the fuck? People said Liv has said that she does not like when people show up with that mugshot, but here you are, Rhea, taking a picture with the fan and then posting it to your Instagram. Like, if it's one thing if you had to take the picture with the fan, but you shouldn't have to put that picture on your official Instagram account. Like, why would you do that? Compare what Rhea did there to what happened in what was that? London. London. Some dude came up wearing a T-shirt of Liv's mugshot. It was Dom and it was Raquel that said, "Nah, we're not taking a picture." Like, Dom shut that down. Like, how is it that Dom could shut down and protect Liv from a fan who had that shirt with her mugshot on it, but Rhea can't? See, this is why I when I was that when she posted her picture tonight, that's why I side eye stuff, because she does these little bitty stuff which makes you side eye her. And I'm like, if you're gonna be like a brat and talk about how people hate you, but you're stirring up the shit. Like, come on, make it make sense. And then she was trashing Judgment Day, and I'm like, okay, you and Damien pretty much ran over Judgment Day. New Judgment Day didn't have a chance to get any kind of traction on there, and the interview just gave like, I wasn't fired out, quit vibes, to quote my friend Hope and Sanity. I mean, like, you ran over Judgment Day. Like, y'all could have had a really nice feud between Judgment Day, New Judgment Day, and the Terror Twins, but that didn't happen because Triple H and his bullshit just had Rhea and Damien like 2v5 them all the time. So of course they're not going to be the same like they were. And even when she was in Judgment Day, it was always her that was winning. If y'all follow Judgment Day like I did, it was always Rhea winning. Rhea was the only one winning, and then if then everybody else would lose. There would be pay-per-views where we would have multiple Judgment Day matches, and everybody would lose but Rhea. So it wasn't like they were strong then. Now, if we get things under Dom, maybe they can switch that around again. But until then, you can't be saying like, they're not the same. Yeah, they're not the same because you ran over them. Like, it seems like there are ways you can address these articles where you can address it where it's not so condescending, and I don't know. It just really annoys me how she answers some of these like questions sometimes. Like, it seems like she needs a little bit more tact. Like, if you look at Liv, she will talk up like when she was typing up talking about the like after SmackDown, her and Raquel were talking about the tag teams and stuff like that. She was talking them up. She was hyping them up in her heelish way. It seems like, how's it that Liv can do that for other people, but with Rhea, we don't get that. It's just her. It's just me, 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 me. And it's just really getting annoying. I was like, look, this is your character. You're whining, and nothing has changed. And I think, and a part of the other article with Rhea is like, what was that? Somebody was saying like, well, she's just a child. How come nobody can see that's been her character, that she's a child? Okay, but the child never changes. She was a bunny boiler last year, and this year she's childless, but the character is still inherently the same. Nothing has evolved. If anything, she's doing regressive character development. Nothing's developed with her. So she's just going backwards. She was a bunny boiler, now she's childish. So nothing's changed. So it just seems like she gets really sensitive when people critique her character or her storylines. And that's what wrestling fans are going to do. If people are right now critiquing Charlotte and Tiffany, I don't see nobody getting Tiffany or Charlotte getting upset about them critiquing their story now. Charlotte and Tiffany is a whole other kettle of fish. But you get what I'm saying there. Like nobody's really. I mean, people critique Drew and Damian, and Drew kind of talked about it too. But he didn't do it in a way that kind of talks down to the fans about it. He did it in his own Drew McIntyre way. But he at least addressed it with tact. And we get all these people that will talk about their storylines, but with Rhea, she's always like she gets so offended that somebody would dare have something negative to say about her character. I mean, it's like you need to get over it, boo. People are always going to talk about your character. If it's not going right or don't look right or it doesn't make sense, you're going to have more often than not people talking about your character. It is what it is. But anyway, that's my Rhea spiel for tonight because I'm like, because I just like I said, I just can't really get why she gets so offended like when people critique her. Like, yeah, I mean, you're a bunny boy, or you're acting childish. Like, I'm gonna critique about it, especially when it impacts other people's storylines where they couldn't even establish themselves. Like, I will hold it against her regarding like Dom and Finn and Judgment Day, especially with Damian. Like to this day, I don't like Damian's ass and Finn and Judgment Day, especially with Damian. Like to this day, I don't like Damian's ass. So I mean, I can still be upset with Finn, storyline wise, but I can still also not like Damian because of how that turned out. So, Raw preview. Proceed with caution what made me think of Naomi, who had the awesome promo on SmackDown, by the way. I strongly encourage you to go watch that because she had razor blades in her hair. Like, I'm gonna need this razor blade look to continue. There was nothing else previewed, like for like Dom or Finn or Penta or Braun. I'm really hoping that Fatal 4-Way gets a stipulation of some kind. Because, like I said, the only match with a stipulation is the street fight with Drew and Damian. And I think some of these other feuds need something there. Because everything else is just going to be like straight up matches. And there's no variety there. Like we need to start getting some stipulations, some rules, like something online, like I said, like with Liv, Raquel, Bayley, and Lyra. Maybe it's winner take all, like something like that. But we might even see like some of these other tag teams show up. Like I was talking about on the X, how I'm really disappointed how Nia is left off the card. Like how is it like Nia, who had and carried SmackDown from Queen of the Ring on, she's off the card. See, this is what was going to happen with Liv. Like, she built up everybody else. She built up Tiffany. She was the fodder for Rhea to get one little title match done, and now she's off the card. Pretty much exactly the same thing which happened to Liv and her last year. And I am really annoyed with that, and I really think that's fucked up. Like, you can have, like, Nia and Candice form up a tag team real quick. Do something. Like I'm kind of hoping they actually show up at. She did post like, do y'all want to party in Vegas? Like, what was it, a couple of days ago? And I kind of hope she does show up into some capacity because just to be left completely off the card is extremely fucked up. But like I said, I'm hoping we do get some stipulations with some of these matches. I am probably gonna do like a preview show or at least a preview video on who I think is gonna win on some of these things. So that's probably gonna come out later on this week, and maybe some of my predictions and how I would do it. But yeah, Raw also has like AJ versus Karrion Kross. So I think we have what was it? Was it Roman Reigns gonna be there? Like, it just feels kind of boring. Like I'm hoping for Raw we get a lot of action, we get a lot of storyline development. I'm hoping we get a lot of stuff. I'm not sure what we can do with Dom and Finn at this particular moment. Like maybe we get the hint of the new member. I'm gonna talk about that. But maybe we get a hint of the new member. Maybe we get like if Liv loses, we get more like of Finn's nagging, where Dom is pretty much you can see that he's pretty much had enough of Finn's bullshit. Like we need some major stuff to happen on Raw. WrestleMania. Plans have allegedly leaked of the WrestleMania set design. there is cars and what we see in some of those plans, so we're thinking that could be a low rider entrance for Dom. And if it is a low rider entrance for Dom, that'll be cool. I would take low rider. I would take Bonnie and Clyde. I would take, if we anything. If I'm just hoping they're trying their best to top Dom's WrestleMania 39 entrance, because that was amazing. Like his prison van entrance for WrestleMania 39, like that was superb, perfecto. Like we need something that tops that. Both IC and tag matches, women's tag matches, are on the same night 2. I'm gonna try and do a live reaction for those two matches. I'm kind of hoping that Liv either they need to probably. I'm wondering if they go back to back, because I'm kind of hoping that Liv is I kind of want Liv to be in Dom's interest a little bit. So I would probably have Liv go her match go first and then Dom's. But if they do it back to back and they put like the women's tag after Dom's, then you can have some drama. Like if Liv takes that bump, you can have that drama there of can Liv recover to have a match for WrestleMania, because we need some of that intrigue there, so they can go kind of two different ways there. Um, so yeah, we will probably know more. We'll probably get more like tomorrow and Friday. Um, and then we have the long ass pre-show, and then we have the Hall of Fame. I might do some reactions for the Hall of Fame. That Hall of Fame is gonna be on like late at night, so I'm not sure um what I'm gonna do like this WrestleMania weekend. I know I'm gonna be watching Stand and Deliver, so I'm gonna be watching Stand and Deliver and all that, and then we got SmackDown. So we'll see how it goes. Fantasy booking. This is some early preliminary. What I would think for the IC match. This is subject to change depending on what happens on Raw tomorrow. IC match. We can have the new member of Judgment Day show up. Now the top contenders right now are Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed has started to become more active on the X. He's posting more. We're not sure on his health status and his heel status of his ankles since Survivor Series. Survivor Series was November, so December, January, March, December, January, February, March, April. It's been 5 months, so he could be ready to come back. And if they want to protect Bronson, where he doesn't have to do a whole bunch of bump, like a whole bunch of wrestling, but maybe do a couple of bumps or spots secure there, you can hide him with Dom for a little bit until he's like fully ready to wrestle. So you could do that with Bronson Reed. Another candidate for the new member of Judgment Day is Miro or Rusev. He was hired back. Rusev does have a connection with Liv because she came up when she and Rusev broke up Lana's and Bobby Lashley's wedding. So there is a connection there. He can come in and again be like that guy for Dom. And then there's a connection to Liv, and we could spin off the histories there with that. Aleister Black, I don't think is showing up because he's looking like he's going to be on SmackDown. We do have a long shot from somebody from NXT like OTM. Now OTM I haven't seen it's for a while, except for their that tag team match that they had in NXT. It was like a little like was it tornado like street fight or something like that. I haven't seen them in a while, but they have a cholo vibe that matches Dom. And if they want to pull up OTM minus Jada Parker, because I think they want to do something else with Jada Parker because she's not really associated with OTM anymore. So you can have OTM come up without Jada Parker, and then they could be like that tag team for Dom. Because like I said, they match the aesthetic. Another long shot is Tony D'Angelo. Now he has some other, but he's having some family issues. Like it looks like Stack might want to take over, and if they want to do something like that, you can just pull in Tony D to help out Dom because Tony D, and Tony D'Angelo are kind of cordial at this particular moment. Rarely big long shot. Ray Phoenix. Now, why am I saying Ray Phoenix? We do know that he's had these little matches with Andrade, and not with Andrade, like with Frazier and Berto, and then we have some other people, and it looks like Santos might be getting involved in there or something like that. So that's why I'm saying this is a long shot. But Ray Phoenix did something interesting when he was walking in on SmackDown. Guess whose truck he was walking by? It was Dom and Liv's WrestleMania truck, and he looked at Dom on that truck, and I'm like, you know, it may be something, it may not be, it may be nothing. A clue isn't always a clue, but it just made me think because, like, of all the production trucks you can have for, for Ray Phoenix to walk by, you select the Liv Morgan and Dom production truck. It's kind of like how it was with um when Paul Heyman was walking by and they framed like Dom and Liv in the same frame when Paul Heyman was walking through. And I said, that's deliberate. Like they're on opposite ends of the truck. So to have them both in a shot with the camera is deliberate. Like you would either get like either Liv in the frame or Dom in the frame. But to get both in the frame, it really piqued my interest. Now, as of right now, it looks like nothing has come to pass from that shot. But you never know. Something may come up in the future regarding them and Paul Heyman. But with Ray Phoenix, it's just one of those things that pique your interest there. Like, okay, you know, I probably wouldn't have thought too much of it if he hadn't looked at Dom on the truck. Because last time Dom was looked at, it was Ray and Dragon Lee, like a couple of months ago. So and they were like, you know how they go. So it's like again, yeah, it could be something, it could be nothing, but it would be wild, like if Ray Phoenix was doing all this and like showing the face stuff, and then all of a sudden, he pops up against Penta because Penta's in that match. So it is what it is. Thanks for tuning in to the Wrestling Receipts podcast. Remember to follow me on the X at WMaven, WWE, and on TikTok at WriterMaven for more wrestling insights and live reactions every Monday night after Raw. Until next time, I'm just saying.